progression from our preliminary task, I've learnt about the importance of costume, makeup and special effects in making our final product look more professional. Our preliminary task looked quite amateur because we didn't have specific costumes to show the difference between the characters such as the villain, the hero and the victim, which meant that it was unclear who played each part. However, if we had costumes for each character, for example, if the hero wore a superhero costume and the villain could have worn dark clothes and something to conceal their identity, it may have made the plot clearer to the audience. Some of our audience feedback included comments about the unclear plot, so I think focusing on costume would have combated this. However, because we had such little amount of time to plan, film and edit our preliminary task, it was not possible to have a costume. We focused on the costume during the keepsake as we included it as a question in our survey. The most popular response was for the killer to wear a Victorian nightgown, and I focused on calling local charity shops to see if they had any suitable nightgowns that we could use. Everywhere that I called they had none available, so we looked online for another option, where I came across the one we found on Amazon. We decided to go ahead with this purchase because it was what our target audience wanted to see as a costume for our psychological thriller, and we wanted to exceed their expectations. The feedback that we received from the audience for the keepsakes that the costume was good and that the Victorian-style nightgown was effective, which shows the major improvement that a focus on costume has to the end product. No special effects because they weren't appropriate for our genre, which was action. However, we quickly realised that for our final product, special effects would be very important in making the film look realistic. I researched into creating bruises using face paint by first finding a tutorial on YouTube which showed me step by step how to create the final bruises. The video tutorial showed me how to create 2 different types of bruises. I put bruises over George's face, hands, feet and arms for following the video. In our audience feedback we were told the bruises are good and effective, showing the importance of special effects within a psychological thriller.
Okay. Looking back at our preliminary task, my editing has improved a lot. In our prelim, the filming of some of the shots were quite shaky, such as this affected the final clip as it made it look unprofessional. During the editing of our opening credits, I learned how to stabilise the shots, which appeared to be quite shaky. So they went from this to this. I also learnt how to use the blade tool more effectively. Watching our preliminary, I noticed that there were a lot of waiting before the shots changed, which I should have cut earlier, so the shots, especially the match on action, flowed more smoothly. This was the match on action in our preliminary, and this was the match on action in our final opening credits. Another thing I improved upon was continuity editing. In our preliminary task, the shots changed setting from outside to inside without a match on action, which made the scene appear disorientating. In our opening credits, the continuity editing was a lot more professional, as there was a match on action of Georgia walking in the woods before she was shown inside the lair.
Our preliminary task was a scene from an action film. We didn't have very long to plan it, which is demonstrated through our storyboard. We only had one draft with 7 pictures. Our lack of detail became clear when we were filming, as it took longer than expected due to the angles of some of the shots not working, as well as our lack of props, meaning we had to compromise. In addition, feedback we received was that we lacked continuity during the match and action sequence. Only after filming the first shot, we realised that we needed a door for the match and action, so I had to jump to the hero being inside. In contrast, our final opening credits were planned much more carefully. We created 4 drafts of our storyboard, which was each 4 pages long. My storyboard was much more detailed as we progressed with our drafts. I not only included many more shots, but also how long we planned for each of them to be filmed. In addition, we created a shooting script for the day, which included the meeting place and time, props everyone was bringing, locations of the shots to be filmed, and the running order of the day. On the filming day, our organisation enabled us to get more filming done than expected. We filmed in just 4 hours, as well as filming more footage than we had planned. For the extra shots we filmed, we thought about what we would like the titles to appear, and therefore filmed from different angles.